Thanks to the Ohio State Police, the Columbus Police, and the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force for their excellent response and coordination with each other, which is really excellent collaboration among law enforcement agencies. My role, the United States Attorney's Office's role here, and the Department of Justice is to provide whatever support we can in terms of legal process for the ongoing investigation. Now, because we are talking about an ongoing investigation and legal process, unfortunately, we're not going to be in a position to provide certain details about what's going on. Nevertheless, I do think that it might be helpful for you to hear from the various different law enforcement components as to what they are doing, and then after they can give you a briefing from each agency's perspective, we can come back and answer any questions that you might have. So with that, I would yield the podium to Special Agent in Charge Angela Byers of the FBI Cincinnati Field Division.
Thank you, Ben. Good afternoon. I'm Angela Byers, the Special Agent in Charge of the Cincinnati FBI office, which also includes Columbus. First, I want to thank the Ohio State University and the Greater Columbus community for their support in the aftermath of Monday's attack on campus. Our sympathies go out to everyone who was impacted by this tragedy. The men and women of the FBI are part of this great community, and we will be with you, united as we move forward. Together, we are all Buckeye strong. I want to commend the Ohio State University Police Department and the Department of Public Safety for their swift actions to protect students, faculty, and staff in the wake of Monday's attack. The officer involved took decisive steps to end the immediate threat, and the university wisely activated the Buckeye Alert System, which helped alert those on campus of the danger. The FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes the Columbus Division of Police, the Columbus Division of Fire, the Ohio State University Police Department, and the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, has been working together to determine as much as possible about the attacker, Abdul Razak Ali Artan. These efforts include the detailed analysis of electronic devices, social media accounts, and other materials. The Joint Terrorism Task Force and our partners have conducted dozens of interviews with family members, co-workers, neighbors, and others. These efforts will continue with an immense amount of local and federal resources being devoted to this investigation. At this time, we are not aware of anyone else being involved in the planning of this attack, but the investigation continues. It appears that Artan may have at least been inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki and the Islamic State in the Levant, and we will continue to pursue this as part of this investigation. Please understand that this investigation is very comprehensive and thorough as we meticulously go through evidence, intelligence, and information to determine what may have led to this attack. It will take time. At this point in the investigation, we want to ask the public for assistance in one specific area. We ask for anyone with credible information about Artan's whereabouts on Monday morning prior to the attack at 9:52 a.m. to call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, 1-800-CALL-FBI. While we know several details about his travels that morning, we want to fill in any time that is not accounted for. We appreciate your support and assistance. I want to again thank all of our partners, including the Ohio State University Police Department, the Columbus Division of Police, the Columbus Division of Fire, and our partner agencies on the Joint Terrorism Task Force for all of their work on this continuing investigation. We will provide updates as the investigation permits. Thank you. I next want to introduce Columbus Division of Police Deputy Chief Mike Woods.
Thank you. Just do a couple comments to back up Special Agent Byers' comments. Again, I'm Michael Woods, Deputy Chief with the Columbus Police Homeland Security Subdivision. And we want to echo the thoughts of the FBI and express our sympathies to all those involved in the attack on Monday. We are extremely grateful that no innocent lives were lost, and we're very hopeful that all victims are going to make a full recovery. We also want to thank the public safety officials from across Greater Columbus that responded and assisted in this effort. Our training, our planning that we have done for several years now came into play, and we were very happy with the success and the response. As mentioned, our investigators assigned to the JTTF, along with our criminal intelligence unit and our counterterrorism unit, are working with the JTTF to provide information on the background of the attacker and trying to work that timeline and provide any information that we can. From the Columbus Police perspective, this is a two-part investigation. The first part is the component that we're working with the FBI in relationship to the attacker and any motive that he may have had. And the second component is the investigation into the police-involved shooting. Although these are two separate components, the investigators are communicating with each other and sharing all information to make sure we have a clear picture of what took place. Deputy Chief Richard Bash will come up next and speak to you about some of the specifics involved with the police-involved shooting, as well as the aggravated assault on the victims.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, I'm Richard Bash. I'm the Investigative Subdivision Deputy Chief here in Columbus. As noted prior, the Columbus Division of Police Critical Incident Response Team, also known as CERT, has been tasked with the criminal investigation into this incident. This investigation will include the assaults committed by the assailant and then the resulting use of deadly force by the Ohio State University police officer. This incident, as with every other police-involved shooting that we investigate, is a criminal investigation and conducted just as any other criminal investigation would be conducted. As this is also an open investigation, some details cannot be shared and will not be shared until the conclusion of all criminal proceedings. These investigations are exhaustive and will take a great deal of time to complete, and our focus is on an accurate and complete investigation, so no stone will be left unturned. Upon completion of this investigation, it will be submitted to the Franklin County Prosecutor Ron O'Brien's office. Mr. O'Brien's longstanding policy is to present each and every police-involved shooting that results in death to a grand jury, and I don't expect this to be any exception for them to review that for consideration. Lastly, I would like to ask anyone who has additional information about this incident and has not yet spoken with a police detective to give us a call at area code 614-645-4146. That's the number to our homicide section, and we would greatly appreciate any information they could give us. Thanks for your time.
It was mentioned that there was some type of refugee problem in the bottom here.
Do you want to address, or would you like me to address? Go ahead.
So to repeat the question, she was asking how Mr. Artan arrived in the United States, what program he came into. He was a Somali refugee that is here now. We can tell you that he did come here from Pakistan is where he arrived, but we really can't get into further background of his immigration to the United States.
So it still falls under that same refugee program that brought all the other Somali families?
I really can't answer questions as far as the immigration program. That's not what we are involved in.
At this point, do you have any direct evidence of connections with ISIS? Has any contact anyone from ISIS contacted Artan? I mean, or specifically inspired?
As I previously stated, all we know at this point is that we believe he may have been inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki and or ISIS or ISIL. Our investigation will determine that. It's too soon to draw any type of conclusions. We are looking at the Facebook posts and trying to determine the authentication. So that is one thing that leads us to believe that it's possible that he may have been inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki. I don't have that information available. I'm sorry.
Do you know if this was premeditated, something that was working on for a while, or was it a sort of the moment, about the night of the morning of the attack?
So the question was, do we know if this was premeditated, if he had come up with this plan right previously, or whether that he decided that morning? We really don't know. That is one thing we were really trying to work on, is the motive and when he came up with that plan. That's why we are asking anybody's assistance that may know any of his whereabouts that morning.
What do you know
That's part of the investigation I really can't get into right now.
What about ISIS taking responsibility or claiming that this was, their encouragement? Have we found a direct connection to ISIS? I know there was.
No, as I've said, we only believe that he may have been inspired by ISIL. In the past, they have claimed responsibility when the assailant has been dead that can't refute that. So that makes it pretty easy for them.
Can you talk about the way this was carried out? A lot of terrorism experts are saying that ISIS put out videos explaining how to kill people with knives, how to use cars. Can you go into whether or not this was very similar to what ISIS propaganda is online, inspiring others to carry out attacks like this, because there have been others where knives and cars have been used outside of the US?
So that's a very long question. If I could maybe try to summarize that, he's basically trying to determine if was ISIS out there putting this information out there as to this is a method. We have seen those methods being used already, so we don't know whether that's something that he's getting from something that ISIS is putting out there or whether he's inspired by other attacks. We really are still trying to determine that motive.
We're hearing that he did buy the knife on the morning of your hearing was at Walmart. Can you confirm that and tell us where in town that the purchase was made?
Yeah, Deputy Chief Woods will answer that.
We do know that he purchased a knife that morning at a Walmart on the west side of Columbus, but what we don't know is if that purchase was the knife that was used in the attack, and that's still another item that we have to follow up on, but we do know a purchase was made that morning.
How many and what kind of holes would you say you have in the timeline for Monday morning that you're looking for information about?
Right now, there's a lot of holes in that. I would say that, we have some basic information about the purchase of the knife. We know the time of the attack. We also know we have some footage from OSU University about where the vehicle was. So it's that time in between the purchase and the arrival on campus that we want to fill in. So that's why we want that public help to tell us if they saw something, what did they see, where they saw it, what time it was, and just help us fill that timeline in.
What was the time frame gap that you have?
I don't have an exact figure on that, but it's a several-hour time from the purchase until the attack.
Do you know why that building? Do you know if he specifically chose that building or why he chose that?
That's all part of the investigation. There's really no determination as to why Ohio State, why that particular building, why that street. So that's all the information that we're trying to decipher from any electronic signatures that he's left behind. That why did he go there?
Do we have glasses in this building?
We don't know that. We'll have to check with Ohio State on that.
You've been able to determine if that gas leak, the report of the gas leak, was that truly a coincidence?
We believe that was coincidence from Ohio State. We believe that alarm went off the Friday before, so it may have been a problem with the alarm. That morning it did go off. We also received a 911 call, I believe, from someone inside the building reporting the alarm. We've interviewed that person, so we believe that the alarm related to the fluorine leak was all coincidental. Yeah, and I'm not going to say it was a 911 call, but we did receive a phone call from a OSU staff member indicating that they had the leak, and we have contacted that person and interviewed them. That was Monday morning.
Was there a person who was shot in the ankle? That was reported by one media outlet, and I never heard it again. So
Yeah, Deputy Chief Bash can speak to that investigation.
That is correct. We did have a bystander, a witness, who was shot in the bottom of the foot. That is correct. That's what we believe, correct. The only gun at the scene that we believe was there was that of the police officer.
Can you also talk about what the OSU police officer, how many times he told the suspect to drop his knife before he shot? Can you kind of elaborate about what transpired?
Kevin, I can't really elaborate too much. As you know, this is an ongoing criminal investigation. We do know from some of the witnesses that he did instruct him to drop the knife more than once. That much we do know.
Did any of the victims know him? Did he have a personal relationship with anyone hurt?
I don't have any indication that they do or did. I don't know if anybody else up here has any indication that that's the case at all.
Have there toxicology reports been done? Anything that you can talk about as to his autopsy and if that reveals anything?
Well, that will be part of the autopsy. We have not received the final report yet. I expect that any day now. None yet. Thank you.
Have there been any previous law enforcement contact, you know, on the federal or the local level with the suspect or his units? You know the law enforcement is being monitored. Have there, even from that or even traffic ticket, have there been any interactions or aware of previous citizens?
Not that I'm aware of. Deputy Chief Woods, Angela?
Yeah. Let me just repeat the question since people may not have heard. Was there any contact or knowledge of FBI, any law enforcement of the suspect Artan, and the FBI had no knowledge of him and had no contact with him? He was not a subject of any investigation.
Can you talk about the disadvantage that you're at when it comes to a lone wolf attack and how difficult it is to try to find a needle in the haystack? Are there indicators to law enforcement need to do a better job of controlling social media? Because that seems to be where, if this was a case of radicalization.
So the question is about the lone wolves and being out there in social media. Law enforcement does our best to try to, within the limits of the law, to see what's out there in social media to try to prevent these types of attacks. But we can only do so much. Some of these people, there is no indication. We believe that post was that morning. So if it is authentic by him, so that would not have helped us really to be on to him that quickly and prevent that attack.
Was there any obligation in previous Facebook posts that you've been able to look back on in this electronic devices and on posts? Was there a bit of a continuum of increasing frustration or desperation that you could see now in hindsight and perhaps create some kind of motive from that?
So to repeat that question, in reviewing his Facebook post, was there anything obvious that might have been picked up on, basically to indicate that he was a potential problem? I really can't comment on where we are on the Facebook review right now. I know that is ongoing. That takes a while to get the proper legal processes, as well as then conduct those reviews of electronic media and social media accounts.
In talking to neighbors who've had contact with him over the last couple of years, they all describe him as very polite, respectful, pleasant, happy kid. I guess from your interviews and from your look back at what you have so far, I mean, do you find a different version of this person?
He wanted to know, basically, from what is being told out in the media, people were saying he was a very nice, polite young man, asking whether or not we have found anything different in our interviews. And I really can't disclose what we're learning in our interviews. That's part of the ongoing investigation.
From speaking to the Somali community, this describe a sense of fear of retaliation, possible retaliation against that community. Does that at all impact your investigation and getting information from perhaps neighbors, family members?
I really, I'll leave Deputy Chief Woods.
You know, as far as retaliation would go, we would tell the Somali community or any community that feels threatened, contact the local police. And we will send officers out and we will investigate that and take the appropriate steps. We have not heard that, anything, we're not seeing that, but if we get those calls, we will definitely act upon them.
Chief, can you talk about the officers, you had a chance to talk to the officer and can you tell us about how he's doing?
I have not met or spoke with the officer personally, and as Deputy Chief Bash mentioned, because it's still an ongoing investigation, any contact with him has got to be, right now, from our standpoint, is official. So we're waiting to do that official interview with him, and his shop will take care of that.
Are you calling the sheriff yet?
I can answer the question about speaking to Officer Haruchko. The question was, how he's doing and have we had contact with him? And I've spoken to him several times. The last was yesterday, and given the circumstances, he's in good spirits. I'm continued to be impressed with his humility and his concern for the victims. And he's hanging in there, and that has been our main focus. And we really appreciate Columbus Police and the FBI taking the lead on the officer-involved shooting and the investigation, so we can focus on taking care of the victims and the officer.
Are you calling the sheriff yet?
It's too soon to draw any type of conclusions whether or not this is terrorism. We have a long road to go in the investigation. We have lots of evidence and lots of digital media to go through, and that could uncover a trove of information for us, so we really can't draw any conclusions at this point.
Did everybody in the house where he was living have access to the same computers?
I can't really discuss what we found in the search warrant executed on that residence. We found several electronic media, but I really can't get into who had access to what media in that house. I really don't want to get into the numbers of the details of things that were found in that search warrant, sir.
We have time for 4 more questions.
Say how many search warrants you've executed and where?
Well, we executed a search warrant on the house, and
As with standard policy, we will execute a search warrant on the vehicle that's used so we could have access to everything inside that vehicle. And then any other search warrants we may need to get into anything that we find inside that car. So right now, CPD has executed the one, and I think the FBI has executed
the house.
another one at the house.
Was the car Artan's car, family member's car, something like that?
The vehicle was, you asked if the vehicle was registered to him, and the vehicle was not registered to him. I believe it was his brother.
So ISIS claimed responsibility. Any clue about the validity of that?
I believe I've already answered that question, but to repeat that, any validity to ISIS claiming responsibility, it is too soon to draw that conclusion. We believe he may have been inspired by Anwar al-Awlaki or ISIL, but they have been known to take credit for incidents like this when the assailant is deceased and cannot refute that.
All right, last question.
Can you describe what kind of cooperation or lack of cooperation you're getting from the Somali community in this investigation?
So we've gotten cooperation with the people that we have spoken to. We have a great community outreach relationship with the Somali community, as does Columbus Police. And we're hoping that they will not see any retaliation, and we are here to pursue any type of civil rights investigations should that happen.
I'd just like to close real quick with, this is the second incident in Columbus, Ohio within the last year. So what I'd like to remind everyone is that this can happen in New York City, it can happen in Columbus, Ohio, or it could happen to any small town in the United States. So what we're asking again is if you see something that's unusual, let us know about it. Call the FBI, call the Columbus Police, and we can follow up on that. And that's one more step that we can use to maybe prevent one of these attacks in the future. Thank you.